A positive impact on the grizzly bear food sources has been observed as well due to wolf reintroduction. Since the reintroduction of wolf populations, bears have been gained more access to food in a number of ways. Similar to the bison population, grizzly bear populations have improved availability of plant and berry food sources. As previously stated, given that wolves were primarily prey on elk, there has been a decrease in plant browsing animals. As a result of less browsing by elk, aspen trees have increased their average height, thus allowing for a greater diversity of berry-producing plants to be able to grow under the different heights of the aspen plants. With the wolves being reintroduced, the beaver population also went up exponentially. The elk population went stable, and the bears also did well. They no longer had to try to find food. The wolves dying out in Yellowstone caused the elk population to skyrocket. In return, the elk were left with no predators. As a result, the coyote population increased dramatically, which caused the pronghorn antelope population to drop heavily. When elk population increased, the beaver was directly affected. The elk would destroy trees, thus indirectly eradicating the beaver. The farmers were affected by the eradication, so they no longer had to shoot and kill wolves to stop the wolves from killing their livestock. The Fish Department and New Mexico Department of Agriculture no longer had to provide financial compensation for the wolves killing the farmers' livestock. Biologists alike agree that by reintroducing the wolves, the ecological health of Yellowstone has improved exponentially. From 2011 to 2015, a total of $594,000 has been granted from the Wolf Livestock Demonstration Project to Arizona Game and Fish Department and to the New Mexico Department of Agriculture, which in turn provide funding for the allocation by the Mexican Wolf and Livestock Council. The farmers might have lost money, but they were eventually paid back. The wolves did end up causing stability, which helped everyone. In 1900, 41% of working Americans worked on farms. A large number of these farm workers were ranchers who raised cows, sheep, and horses to make their living. The lush pastures of the western United States were perfect for this sort of work, but there was one big problem. Wolves overran the ranchers' land and killed their sheep and cattle in the first half of the 20th century. The United States government hired bounty hunters to wipe out all the wolves threatening the ranchers' livestock. Without the threat of wolves, cattle and sheep ranches grew and succeeded all over the country, especially in western states. From 1987 to 2006, one organization gave money to the ranchers for the deaths of more than 650 cows and 1,645 sheep. But ranchers say this is only a small fraction of the actual losses due to wolf killings. An intensive survey in the 1970s found no evidence of a wolf population in Yellowstone. Although an occasional wolf probably wandered into the area, people were getting to believe that for things to fix themselves, the wolf had to be part of the picture. With the prey base removed, the wolves began to prey on domestic stock, which resulted in humans eliminating wolves from most of their historical range. Predator control, including poisoning, was practiced in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Other predators such as bears, cougars, and coyotes were also killed to protect livestock and more desirable wildlife species such as deer and elk. Yellowstone National Park was created in 1872, and it housed many unique animals. Wolves play a very important and healthy role in the ecosystem that occupies Yellowstone. It is important to note that killing wolves was completely legal back then, and as a result, the wolves were completely eradicated out of Yellowstone by 1926. As low as 10 wolves were implemented in the original reintroduction.